Don't move.
There we go.
Anyway, Jeff he's sent by God, really, or somebody, whoever's whatever force is in charge of this. Okay, here we go. Pastoral Counseling and Growth Center was conceived at a monastery. I was not happy at seminary, and I knew that. Had not been happy for a while, for reasons most of you know. And so I first went to the monastery in Gethsemane when I was in graduate school in 1975. So I've been going to monasteries for a long time. And I decided to go to the monastery and figure out what I was going to do next. What to do with Asheville, what to do with the possibility of returning here, how to do it, that sort of thing. And so, with meditation and silence and all that, my creative imagination got started, Russell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Creative imagination.
So.
Creative energy, Michael.
That's right.
Leads to Speedos if you're not careful.
That's right.
So my image was that I'd have a counseling center in an old house just north of downtown Asheville. Most of you know where the house is. It's an old house, and the house is 130, is that right? 130 years old. It's an old house. And I was going to name it the Pastoral Counseling and Growth Center because I looked in the phone book and I didn't see any of that. I saw some Christian counseling center, but I didn't see any pastoral counseling. I know it's stupid to be a pastoral counselor. People don't know what that is. They think we just do counseling with pastors and all that kind of stuff. But I decided there was enough at that time, Bernard, there was enough history with pastoral counseling that I was going to take advantage of that and call this the Pastoral Counseling and Growth Center, counseling with a faith perspective. Now, some of you are not Christians, and I know. Some of you grew up not liking Christians because you grew up with some of them. And I understand that. So, counseling with a faith perspective, though, fits me. And I can talk about God easily because God is basically love. So I don't get into theological debates. Most of you will know that. I don't do that. So, the identity, Pastoral Counseling Growth Center, counseling with a faith perspective. I wanted well-trained pastoral counselors. And boy, I got them. If you'll look at that list there, they're well-trained pastoral counselors. And I trusted them. I needed to make a little bit of a math. Some say we were here in 1980. How can you be 32 years if you started in 1980? I kept trying to get the committee in Russell to change that. They wouldn't do it. So Russell says, every time that thing come up, he said, this counseling center was formed in August 1980. Well, I know because I was there. It wasn't August 1980. It was August of 1990. That's where the 32 years come in. But it did come in 1980. And now it's confusing. And some of you remember that I had a little counseling center in a basement of a house on a vineyard. Some of you were there. You remember that. That's not the Pastoral Counseling and Growth Center. So the one on Chestnut is the Pastoral Counseling and Growth Center. And so when we started putting this together, I was delighted to know we had 15 counselors over 32 years. And the 32 years just kind of sneaked up on me. 32 years. So, that's it. And I'm going to call that our book. And there's a lot of memories, a lot of memories, a lot of stories. We can stay here all night and I can tell you some stories. You can tell me some stories. You can tell me some painful stories, some funny stories. There are a lot of stories. That's the book. Now, what I'm going to do is the acknowledgments for the book. Tonight, I'm going to say thanks. And just like you'd see in a book. First, I want to acknowledge Mommy Ann. Some of you know who Mommy Ann is. Mommy Ann and Daddy O is their grandparent's name. But who I'm acknowledging really is that tree behind me. Some of you may remember that tree. That tree came to the counseling center last Tuesday because Margaret was in the office above me and I kept saying, it's going to be my retirement tree, and when it hits the top of the ceiling, I'm out of here. And I want you to know I've got a picture of it touching the ceiling on Tuesday when we moved. But the Mommy Ann tree has really been a very important tree in counseling. Telling somebody today is it's really a diagnostic tree. Because you kind of tell where people are about how they relate to that tree. Some people come in and say, man, you got a tree in your office. Actually, I got 2 trees. I got a bonsai tree. And I said, yeah, there's a tree up there. And that tree grew and grew. And Mommy Ann gave it to me at an open house 32 years ago, possibly today. I can go back and check that. And that tree grew and grew and grew and grew and grew. Had one guy came in, I mean, he was going through so much pain. He came in after 6 or 8 weeks and he sat down. His pain was lifting, I could tell him. He looked up and he said, has that tree been here the whole time? The whole time. I said, that probably says something about where you've been for the last 6 or 8 weeks or more. So, Mommy and Daddy O, great lovers of people. Okay, my brother Jay, who's going to get this video, he's a lookalike brother, if you've ever seen him. He's the only brother I got, but he's a lookalike. He has a gifted eye for life and for looking. And he's a painter, he's an artist. And those of you who've been in my office know there's a famous painting by him right above my mantel. And it's the young man with the dogs that he painted for my office. And there's also the wise old man that you see when you come in the door and other paintings. So thank you, Jay. My children, oh man, you can tell tonight, my children are something else. You ought to live with them. You ought to go to the beach with them every year. Megan, Allison, Adam. Their growth is amazing, interesting, curious, what they're going to do next. Allison calls sometimes at 11 o'clock at night and you think, oh God, what's happened? Which animal's dead this week? Megan's got 4 children, and she calls some night, 11 o'clock at night, because she got 4 children. And they're a handful. They're great. So, Adam, where's Adam? Garçon. Adam's been my garçon. You know what garçon is? Garçon's a French slave, or not slave, but Adam's been my slave, but anyway, he's been very helpful, especially as my parky has progressed. Some of you know that I have parky. Most everybody knows I have parky. So, and I call it parky. I don't like the word Parkinson's. So I just took that by the horns and we're going to call her Parky. And she's a girl, a woman, by the way.
Gee, thanks.
It really is good though, because I love women. You know that. But I need to get a better relationship with my disease, and that's one of the ways to do it. Okay, my grandchildren. Yeah. Fascinating to watch grandchildren develop, you know. Watch all the DNA mixtures of, you know, Clancy wearing a tie tonight. And Kobe is Pinky Blinder. That's Kobe. One with the hat on. And the bell ringer is Aiden. And Aiden rang the bell. We were practicing last night, ringing the bell. And I had two bells. One for the office, one for home. And we started doing that years ago. And I told him it was a Tibetan prayer bowl. From then on, it became a Taliban bowl. We got two bowls, and so we were ringing them last night. He says, "Pop, which one you want me to ring?" I said, "It's up to you. You're in charge of the ringing." So he rang it and rang. He said, "You know, this one sounds like a church bowl, a church ring." And I said, "Okay, what about the other one?" He said, "I like it better. It's got, what'd you say last night? It's got a, oh yeah, this ring sounds like family." Oh. So, oh man, Matthew, I haven't started yet. So, Matthew, Mason, Mead, Maddie. Getting there. I'm getting there. I got them written down.